Now once, over 1,000 years ago, where I'm walking, there would have been a road. But it has all been erased. I mean, it's impossible to tell there's even a track here. But there was, because it led to someone I've met before, and that's a temple named Kok Po. And he is a bit special, because up here is a god we've never spoken of before. And that makes this one an absolute treat. Now this setting couldn't be more appropriate for the god I'm going to tell you about, and that is Kubera. Have a look at this lush green rice field. Cast your eyes over this ancient tree. Now the reason it fits oh so nicely with our latest chum Kubera is because he was a deity of nature. And when he's depicted, he's a stocky, dwarven sort of chap, and he's often seen holding a large bag of gold. But why would that be? Well, it makes total sense. But you see, if you're a sort of lord over the earth, you have control of the planet itself, then you possess what's in the earth, and that is minerals and riches. So it's rather an odd thing for our modern minds to consider, is nature and materialism as one, but it makes perfect sense. And this is the great thing about the Hindu religion, because it's very well thought out, and it is exceptionally complicated, all the different relationships, and there are squillions of gods. I mean, with Kubera, he used to live in Sri Lanka, but he got into a spat with his half-brother, so he left, and he moved to a mountain range right next door to the mighty Lord Shiva. And I think that's absolutely wonderful. Remember the opening shot? Well, this is the way I walked in. Now, what is very special here is we are pointing due north. If I scan round, the temple is directly this way. So this is why they believe that this temple was dedicated to Kubera, because he is the guardian of the north. So it all makes sense, doesn't it? Now, once here there were 3 prasats. We can see one here, the second here, and there's little but a mound left for where the third once laid. Now firstly, we're heading to our right here, because what I want to do is study this middle temple closely, because I believe that there's something missing. This is where a temple once stood. There is little more than a hole in the ground. The more complete one is Temple A here. This is Temple B. Now, fortunately, I was able to do some research on this and tell you some lovely stories about a fat dwarfen chap who, you know, lives off the minerals of the earth and is a friend of nature. Because in my research, what should be here is some ancient religious text. Now, what is missing, I find a little disturbing, because the texts I find say that right here should be a large stone, a part of the doorway, and there should be some ancient text there in 2 languages, and that is Sanskrit and ancient Khmer, because this is a very old temple. It is 9th century. And what those few sentences tell of is King Jayavarman III, and how he transferred lands in this area, but more importantly was the dedication of this temple. because himself and the local elite changed the deity that this temple was meant for. And that's a big deal. I mean, you think about it, you're switching from one god to another. And this, like most communal churches, would be the very hub of local life. But I've looked everywhere and I can't find it. And I have no idea why it's not here. I mean, there are large stones on the floor. I've looked to see if there's stuff peeking out the earth, and there is. But unfortunately, that ancient text is nowhere to be seen. So on to the last of the three, and it's the most complete that I have saved till last. And as we can see, as is so common with 8th and 9th century temples, he is built of brick. Oh, there we go. And it is that brick that has been pulled apart by these very trees that surround it. But once this was a site of absolute majesty, but the decay now, well, it's very noticeable. Now, if you want to see how bad the decay is here, you can't go much better than this shot I'm showing you, because let me just hop over, have a look what happens when I put my arm in. I can go literally the whole way, and this mighty temple is being held just by this pillar, and it's very much like an old man's teeth, all decayed. And I would hate to think what would happen if literally these two bricks here went. This temple will follow the other two. It literally will come tumbling down and be little more than a pile of rubble, when it should be a temple to that almighty God of nature and of wealth. So there you go, an ancient temple in the middle of the countryside of a faraway ancient land. We introduced a new deity into our storyline, and we even went in search of the words of a once mighty king, but alas, they are missing, and that is truly mysterious and tragic. But there's something I wish to show you in closing, and that is this stone here. It is not really that special, but it makes a very good point. You see, I wouldn't describe this stone as a large, not even a medium really. It's just kind of average, I suppose, with its size, and it once went above a doorway. But allow me to lay on this stone, and then it'll give you an idea as to size, because size is everything when you're dealing with hard stone such as this. So with my hat on my head, that is easily 6 feet, and it keeps on going. So when those wonderful ancients built these with nothing more than the power source of an elephant and the strength of their arms, it's this kind of thing that shows you how dedicated they really were. This has been Mr. B. As always, please like, subscribe and comment, and if by chance you can sprinkle a few coins into my Patreon account to help me get down that road and build this library, I would be truly grateful. And the address for that is www.patreon.com/temples. Until next time, I wish you absolutely nothing but the very best. Take good care.